Good evening, everyone. This is the Board of Trustees regular meeting. It's October 23rd, 2018 at 7:30 p.m. This is meeting number 2018-20. Please take the roll.
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Stalker?
Here.
Trustee Olenichek?
Here.
Trustee Desmond?
Here.
Trustee Phelan?
Here.
Trustee Vorder?
Here.
And Trustee Strike. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. Item 3 is public comments. We have one person who signed in for public comments, Mr. Dean Callant, regarding item 9G on the agenda. Dean, if you care to come up, you have 3 minutes, sir. And we just ask if you identify yourself, spell your name, and let us know if you live in Oak Lawn, and then you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for your time today, and thank you all, especially the students here. My name is Dean Callant, last name K-A-L-A-N-T. I'm with the law firm Gosdecki, Del Judas, 1 East Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois. I myself, Mayor, am not a resident of Oak Lawn, but I represent Airway Mobile Home Community that is in Oak Lawn. Like I said, I'm one of Airway's attorneys, and I'm here actually with one of Airway's staff, Joe Eberlein. Joe, if you could raise your hand. He's in the purple shirt back there. Purpose of my statement is short. It's just to reiterate to the village that Airway cares. Airway and my law firm have been in active communication with the village's attorney for the last 16 months about the assertions involving Airway as stated in the agenda today. This is in addition to the personal good faith meetings between the village and Airway. The accusations against Airway that are stated in the agenda respectfully are not accurate. Airway properly developed, has used and maintained all of its property at its expense for over 60 years. Moreover, Airway is a safe community, and resident safety and security are its top priority and have been its top priority. Yes, in June 2017, very unfortunate events occurred within the community that could have, quite frankly, happened and do happen in any community, whatever state, city, or suburb. However, immediately after the event, Airway communicated with the village in good faith on both sides and implemented even more safety measures within the community to continue to make it as safe and secure as possible. Again, Airway firmly believes its community is safe and is properly using all of its property and will stand and protect each and every single one of its residents that proudly call it home. Airway is looking forward to continuing its dialogue with the village and working with the village in good faith. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Item 4, conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have a conflict to disclose with any item on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we're going to move on to item 5, a proclamation. This is for the Bells of Peace, a World War I Centennial Armistice Remembrance Proclamation. Whereas a tolling of bells is a traditional expression of honor and remembrance, and whereas a century ago, 4.7 million American sons and daughters put on the uniform to serve our nation and the world in this global conflict, and whereas men and women from our own fair village of Oak Lawn served selflessly and honorably in World War I, and whereas there were 375,000 American casualties, including 116,516 deaths, whereas on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, an armistice to the fighting was declared, and whereas the U.S. World War I Centennial Commission has called upon Americans across the nation to honor and remember those who served, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Oak Lawn in the United States in the state of Illinois does hereby call upon the citizens and institutions of our community to toll bells in remembrance of the armistice at 11 o'clock a.m. local time on November 11th, 2018. And I'm going to sign this right now. I'm very proud to say several of our churches have agreed to toll their bells at 11 o'clock. And I'd encourage all the students here and all the people at home watching and everyone to download the app. It's called Bells of Peace. And it will chime 21 times at 11 o'clock on November 11th, and it just is a very nice, easy way to remember the sacrifices. And World War I really shaped the last century, and we really want to honor the men and women who served and lost their lives. So please take a moment. Bells of Peace. If you go to the App Store, Bells of Peace. Free app, and it's pretty neat to do. I'd love to hear all the bells going off in Oak Lawn at that time. Item 6, approval of the meeting minutes for the regular meeting minutes 2018-18, dated October 9th, 2018. Motion, please, on item 6.
Motion to approve, ma'am.
Thank you, Trustee Vorder. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Stalker. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Abstain.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Strike?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0-1.
Thank you. Item 7 is new business by village trustees. We're going to start in District 1. Trustee Desmond.
No business.
Thank you. District 2, Trustee Oliniechek.
Happy to have a couple of things. I'd like to start out with our senior snow shoveling program is going to be up and going again this year. We have a call-in line for seniors who are in need, who don't have family and need their snow shoveled and are looking for a volunteer to do it. They can call 708-499-7884 and leave a message with your name, address, and phone number. Seniors will not receive a call back from the village after they register, and if a volunteer is found for them and married with them, the senior will be contacted to be notified that they will have a person that will be coming out to shovel their snow. The program lasts from December 1st to March 1st, and again, it's a volunteer only, and I can tell you from the past 10 years of doing this, there's many needs for seniors to have volunteers. We always have opportunities, and that does cause for a little bit of frustration for the seniors because they believe that once they sign up that they're 100% guaranteed. We do the best that we can to make sure that the snow is shoveled within 24 to 48 hours of when the snow falls, depending upon the weather and availability of volunteers. For you that want to volunteer, how many of you guys are from high school? Raise your hands. So you all volunteer, right? You can go to, please, you could go to www.oaklawn.il.gov. You can go to the government on the village web's homepage, and you can sign up from there. What you will be going to, or you could actually email us at seniorshovel@oaklawn.il.gov, and then somebody from the village will contact you. The registration starts 10/29 and runs through 11/24. We do need about a week to be able to marry the volunteers with the seniors, and then we start out on December 1st. And the kicker to it is if you're a student, you get your service hours if you need them. Plus, for every event that you go out and shovel for, you get your name put into a hat for a possible drawing of a prize. I know that last year we had many good prizes that were out there, and we look forward to being able to get many donations to do that again. But I will tell you that if anyone's ever participated in it, it is a meaningful program. We do have a lot of seniors that don't have direct family around, and you know the difference of them getting out or not getting out is someone coming out and helping them out. And so I know that the kids that have been involved in it, many of them now are in college when we first started it out, or even further in their life, really got a lot out of it because the seniors truly do appreciate it, and it's at no cost to the seniors. If the senior wants to give a gift to a volunteer, that's strictly up to them. I know that a lot of kids did get a lot of cookies and hot chocolate in the previous year. So if you're interested, please visit our website to sign up to help volunteer. And if you're a senior that is in need and do not have any other resource, please call 708-499-7884.
Motion? Which number?
Everything okay? I still have some other things.
Okay.
All right. Secondly, the St. Gerald Parish is having their St. Gerald Pumpkin Run this week, Saturday. And the reason why we run this is in memory of Colette McGinnis, who was a long-term parishioner that did a lot for our school and our church. The money raised from the Pumpkin Run all goes back to the school to fund our school and the needs that we have. You can register up to the start time, up to 7:30 this Saturday morning at St. Gerald. It starts out at 8 o'clock, And then afterwards, I understand that they have a phenomenal free breakfast with it. And I can personally tell you that it's some of the best pancakes, sausage, and eggs that you get. So please consider doing that. That's in conjunction with the other parishes in the village, that we all have some type of 5K or 5K walk and 10K run. But it's a great time, and it's a great event in the village, and the weather's supposed to be good. And then finally, I just want to commend our police department for the great job that they did. We had a carjacking that within 4 days, the police had pursued the suspect and have a fairly good lead on who the individual was. The only frustration that I have is that our police fight so hard to solve crimes and do the things that they do, and in my own personal feeling, based on the facts of looking at this, they're handcuffed to keep criminals in jail by lack of attention by the people who are in our state's attorney's office. And I think it's a shame that when someone gets carjacked and their car is stolen from and criminal is caught, individual that got caught that allegedly did this is on a bracelet and doesn't have to go back to jail at this point and is getting charged with a misdemeanor crime. I think it's just the epitome of ignorance from our secretary, or not our secretary, but from our prosecutor. And I in the time I've been a trustee, I've seen crimes that have happened, but this is the first time I've seen a carjacking, and I just want to commend you and the police department, the detectives, everybody that worked hard to get this solved, and I appreciate it, so thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. District 3.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two issues that happen to be infrastructure related. First of all, there's a gas line replacement project that's taking place in our community, specifically on 95th Street, that has been dragging on for months. Whenever there's a construction project, there are public safety ramifications and implications. We've had extensive lane closures. We've had parking lots, business parking lots that have been closed off to access with this work. We've had issues related to open holes in our parkways that are protected by nothing more than snow fences. We've had issues with the restoration work, and quite frankly, I'm becoming very frustrated with the progress, and I would ask that we lean on NICOR and possibly the regulating agency for NICOR to move this work along expeditiously. I just think it's unacceptable, and it should be. Last year at this time, they were doing similar work on 95th Street. Again, 2 lanes closed on 95th for months, down to 1 lane, and to me, it's common sense that you try to move those type of projects off a state highway, put them down, put them in an easement or on side streets. And at the time, I was told, well, they're almost done. And here we are again, a year later. I know that I've heard from others that are equally frustrated, and I understand that the manager is going to be reaching out, contacting NICOR, and hopefully we're going to get some positive action. Secondly, I was not anticipating, with great excitement, the water transmission project that we have moving into my district, just because of what it would mean to, again, lane closures, big delays, lack of access to business community for residents. And then it did move across 95th Street, and they set up all the roadblocks and barricades and signage from 95th and Southwest Highway over to Ridgeland. And they brought in all their heavy equipment, set up shop, started digging and laying pipe, and then all of a sudden, boom, it stopped about a week ago. So, I'm looking at beautiful construction weather, and I know that last year when this project was moving through District 2, in the winter, of course, there's many days that you can't work. So I hate to see that. I think they should be out there every day, and I'd really like some answers as to why that work has slowed to the pace that it has. That's all I have this evening, Mayor.
Thank you very much. District 4.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to expound on a little bit on Trustee Strite's comments about 95th Street construction. I had an opportunity to stop at one of our local restaurants on 95th Street, and in the course of the conversation with the owner, he says his business for the past week has been off 80%. So not only is it inconvenient for us and the motorists, we are greatly taxing our businesses, which are the lifeblood of our community. So I agree. I would ask the village manager to get tough as he can get, okay, with this construction project. I had the opportunity and the privilege to attend a ribbon cutting ceremony on the neonatal intensive care facility at Advocate Christ Hospital. I attended it with the mayor and my fellow trustee, Bud Stalker. The guest of honor was a young girl. Her name was Elsie. She was 9 months old, and she was born at Advocate Christ Hospital weighing 1 pound, 24 weeks of pregnancy. That girl now today is healthy, smiling, and a true miracle. As we toured that facility, I had to think to myself, I'm standing on the deck of the Star Trek. The technology, the equipment was super impressive. You agree with me, Mayor?
It was something, it was astonishing.
Unbelievable.
And the care for the health and well-being, they don't just, they've kind of locked down how to keep these young babies alive, and now they're taking it to the next level, like looking at their neurologic development. What can they do with the environment to ensure that the baby develops in a healthy fashion, and the care into every little detail. They have, can I talk about the lights?
Sure,
So
ma'am.
they have, lights that change and mimic the natural daylight. Every day the light schedule changes. When the lights when sun sets, the lighting changes, and every minute throughout the day the lighting changes, season by season. There isn't a minute where that light isn't tied into this throughout these units, and this is just one of the little details. It's astonishing, and but it helps these babies kind of get acclimated to the world, and these are such fragile babies.
That you have to understand when a baby's born that small and that frail, it is just on the verge of death every minute of those few days. That's skin isn't like the skin we see and have. It's just raw. It's red, and they bring those babies. Good Lord has a plan for all of them, I'm sure, and not everyone gets saved. But the technology is there here in Oak Lawn. That's what made me so proud, to have that facility and that level of service in this village. I think that hospital is putting Oak Lawn on the map. So.
Yeah, and they said they're ready for as many twins and multiple births as the community can produce. And
my daughter had twins about a week before that neonatal thing opened up, so she was in the little room. But I can tell you what, I'm going to encourage her to have another.
Yeah. Yeah, each baby has pretty much its own room now with the family. They're getting away from, the old baby ward where everyone's all kind of together, because they found that didn't allow the children to thrive as well.
Yes.
So pretty neat.
Yes, it was. I'm very, very impressed. And on a sad note, my fellow trustee that sat in this seat before I got elected, Mr. Tom Duhigg, lost his son, his 50-year-old son, tragically. And I just want to send the sympathy of the village of Oak Lawn and his fellow trustees at his loss. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. District 5.
All been well said. Nothing more at this time.
District 6.
Nothing this evening.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on to item 8, which is the village manager's report. Larry?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Item A is purchase of real estate on 55th Avenue. Specifically, this is the DISQ, D-I-S-Q-U-E, full property. They approached the village and expressed an interest in allowing the village to consider purchasing their property. We secured an appraisal, and we're in discussions with that family At the assistance of the Dis family, I have been in touch in person with 2 adjacent property owners and on the phone with 2 other. There are 4 homes, actually 5 homes on the block. The corner home does not have an interest at this time in conveying their property to the village, but the other 4 are contiguous, of which 3 have expressed a procedure to go forward to sell their property at a negotiated value based on appraisal, which is the case with the disc. This would be funded through the Water and Sewer Fund, and it would be consistent with the village's long-range strategic plan for expanding the existing Public Works complex and consolidating 2 off-site premises and putting those 2 warehouses on the tax rolls in District 2. Currently, those properties could be put on the market for sale to assist in the acquisition price of these 3 or 4 homes.
So you're not looking for any board action at this time?
I am looking for an authorization to proceed in final negotiations with the Disc family at home only at this time.
Okay,
Still in discussion, doing appraisal work on the other properties.
okay, may I have a motion, please, on what Larry's requesting authorization to proceed? I'm, Trustee Oliniechek made the motion, second. Trustee Straight? Or,
It was actually Trustee Desmond, but I'd
oh, okay. I'm
like to address the issue.
Okay, so Trustee Oliniechek made the motion, Trustee Desmond is our second, and now we're going to open it for discussion. I'm going to give it to you, Trustee Straight.
Thank you, Mayor. For all the reasons that the manager stated, I think it makes a lot of sense that we do consolidate operations at the Public Works facility. I do have concerns for the neighbors abutting the facility that have lived across the street from houses for all these years that now will potentially be a Public Works facility. I have requested and been given assurances by our village administration that we will provide adequate buffering to reduce the impact of the site on the neighborhood, and that there will be no additional traffic on the residential streets abutting this block. So it's, I definitely I'm going to be watching that closely because those are, very, I think whenever anybody buys a house, you always expect that everything around you is always going to be the same. And of course, we know that that's not the case. There's been a lot of changes in the community over the years, and sometimes they're difficult. This is one of those that it's going to affect those 5 homeowners and everybody across the street. So I just want to make sure that that those people their privacy rights and their sense of community, their quality of life is not impacted adversely. So, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Vorder.
Do we need a
We have a motion and a second.
I have nothing to say.
Okay. Larry, you were going to,
Mayor, I was just going to echo what Trustee Strite said and give him my assurance. I did last evening with one of the homeowners as I met with her at her property, and we talked about what I felt would be a improvement overall, which would be an earthen berm landscaped in that area upon expanding the Public Works yard. It's a very nice neighborhood, and we want to make sure that we create a 1 + 1 = 3. We improve the neighborhood for those homes that live on the east side of 55th. So I wholeheartedly agree with Trustee Strite.
Thank you.
thank you. And general village matters, Larry? Oh, we have to call the vote on that, I'm sorry.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Strite?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. I want to be brief, but I think I would be remiss with all the men and women of our Oak Lawn Police Department here if I did not fully echo the thoughts of Trustee Oliniechek matter that took place last week. And since we have so many young people in the audience, I think it would enlighten all of us to just recap what occurred. men and women in blue here in this community come up here, raise their right hand, and when they're sworn in, they swear to uphold the United States Constitution, the Constitution of the great state of Illinois, and the code of ordinances, the local laws in this community. And they carry those out to the very best of their duty through extensive training and a commitment to protect every man and woman in this community. Whether you live here, whether you're in school here, whether you work here, or you're traveling through our community. Unfortunately, late last week, an incident that is occurring throughout this country, Naperville, in the Chicago area, Aurora, Oak Forest, not just Oak Lawn, occurred, where a young lady was returning to her car, unsuspecting, opened her door, got in her car, and she was met by an individual, a male who she did not know, and was ordered to get out of her car. Ordered to get out of her car and to lay prone on the ground. Ordered to get out of her automobile and lay prone on the ground. The individual got in the car, hijacked, carjacked, whatever you want to call it, took her car and drove off at a rate of speed that could injure innocent bystanders, as it did to the south of Oak Lawn and another community in a similar incident. Thanks to technology and outstanding police enforcement, our police force, 911, getting the message out to neighboring communities, law enforcement men and women went to action and were able to identify and find that stolen vehicle at a location where they could observe it, had a good description of the individual who committed this act. They made an arrest and brought that person back to the Oak Lawn Detention Center for a discussion of what crimes should be assigned to this person committing this crime. I won't go into any further details other than to say that I wholeheartedly agree with Trustee Olenichek. I commend the men and women of the Oak Lawn Police Force who every single day put their lives on the line to protect all of us. What took place and what this young woman experienced is totally unacceptable. Unacceptable. And it should be, under our laws, prosecuted and addressed in a fair and firm manner. Public safety is what we expect all of us to receive. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, can I add?
Yes, sure. Trustee Vorder.
The tragedy here is the victim herself. She will never, ever get into her car without recalling this incident in the rest of her life. And the tragedy here for all of us is this offender just got out of prison serving 3 years for carjacking. And he wasn't out 14 days when he committed another carjacking and was arrested. They put an ankle bracelet on him, and he was out free until his court date to commit this carjacking. As a police officer of the past, I always felt the victims of crime live it their whole life, and the offenders of crime are just serial. And that's the sad part about the criminal justice system. It's been this way for a long time. I think it's only getting worse. Okay, but I just want to make mention of the victims and that. But, Mayor, can I make a motion to move up on our consent agenda?
We haven't started that yet.
Oh, okay.
A minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other comments? We're going to move on then to the item 9, the consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine or have been brought forward at the direction of the Board of Trustees and will be enacted with one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Item 9A, Ordinance 182071, an ordinance authorizing the sale of one surplus vehicle that has reached a useful lifespan. B is Ordinance 182072, an ordinance authorizing the sale of the Village of Oak Lawn Police Department K-9, commonly known as EDO. Resolution C, C is Resolution 2069, a resolution approving quality-based selection, QBS policy and procedures. D is Resolution 182070, a resolution authorizing and approving the executive of a master supply agreement with MC Squared Energy Services, LLC, pertaining to electricity supply services. Execution. Approving the execution of a master supply agreement. E is Resolution 182071, resolution awarding new concrete finishing the contract to replace the flooring at Oaklawn Patriot Station. F, a request to approve the Board of Trustees' approval and direction to the Board of the Fire and Police Commissioners to promote 1 lieutenant and 1 sergeant in the Oaklawn Police Department due to an impending retirement. G, authorizing by the Board of Trustees to direct Peterson, Johnson, and Murray, Chicago, LLC, to prepare the documents necessary for litigation against the Airway Manufactured Home Community for failure to perform requested fire safety improvements on their property and decades-long improper use of village taxpayer property for profit. May I have a motion, please, on item 9, and then
Approve.
Trustee Phelan made that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Strite. And Trustee Warder, you wanted to?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to pull B.
Okay, we don't need a motion for that. We'll just pull it. And Trustee Olenichik?
I would like to pull G for discussion.
Okay, so we are pulling 9B like boy, 9G. Anything else? Okay, let's call the vote on all the other items then.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Strite?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We're going to start with item 9B, Ordinance 182072, an ordinance authorizing the sale of the Village of Oaklawn Police Department K-9, commonly known as EDO. Chief? And EDO is here, isn't he? Okay. We're going to come up here. Ito, you're a good-looking dog there, sir. How are you?
Good evening, everybody. It's truly a sad day here in Oaklawn for all those in the police department, but I would have to say that it's probably a happy day for Ito. Ito gets to go now and eat cookies all day and hang out and sleep and not have to come to work anymore. A lot of us wish we could do that. He's been with us for 5 years. Unfortunately, he has to retire early. He's had some medical issues, had to have some surgeries that kind of slowed him down, but he will be missed. So with that, I'd introduce his handler, Scott Peterson, who's been with him for a while.
Don't let the name fool you. I'm the good Scott. Don't be afraid. So I've had the pleasure of handling Ito. Like the chief said, unfortunately, the best way I put it, he's like Derrick Rose for anybody that follows sports, right? He's phenomenal at his job. But unfortunately, he's got a couple health issues. He had a slipped disc. We had major surgery, and thankfully, the chief authorized a very expensive surgery. Kept him on the streets for another year, found a lot more money and a lot more drugs. But recently, again, he's kind of sprained his tail. Like I said, he's kind of like Derrick Rose. So he's really good at his job, but he gets hurt. And it's not fair to him to keep on expecting him to kind of be at that level where we need him to be. And he puts himself through a lot of pain and strain just to please me, because that's what these dogs do. So instead of putting him through that now, we're just going to retire him. He's going to sit at home with my other dog. They run and play with each other. For the most part, he is happy and healthy. But again, we kind of need him to perform at a certain level. And unfortunately, he's pretty much like a pet dog now, healthy and happy.
So with that, I know some of the DEA reps are here. This is Christine McGuire, who's one of our task force officers, and she's had the pleasure of working with Ito for quite a while on some of the cases. As Officer Peterson said, Ito has made a lot of money for the village. He's saved the village a lot of money in police vehicles, police equipment, and everything else, and he's really one of a kind. So with that, Chris?
Yeah, as you can see this picture with the flat screen TV, Scott was nice enough to come out and assist us with a consensual search. His dog alerted to a flat screen TV. Upon further inspection, we found about $95,000 secreted in that television. Scott is always ready and able. He answers the phone whenever I call, and he comes quickly out and is always readily available to assist us. Same thing with Scott Mitchell and his canine. Our canine unit is phenomenal in our village. So I'm very proud to have the assistance of my canine officers. He also, because of that case alone, we were able to convince the offender to cooperate. And through his cooperation, we were able to seize 6 kilos of heroin and another kilo of cocaine. And that offender is currently serving time in the federal jail right now. So thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ito. He's a phenomenal dog. And this is my group. A certificate of appreciation from the Drug Enforcement Administration. And thank you so much for your work.
Thank you so much. Ito appreciates it as
And
well.
that dog is steak.
A funny story about that TV. It was one of my first times working with the group. Now imagine your dog, you know he's trained to find drugs, narcotics, right? Next thing I know, he's sitting and staring at a TV. I'm like, oh man, you are making me look really stupid in front of the cool guys. And like she had mentioned, all of a sudden you open up the TV and there's $95,000 sitting in it. I'm like, oh, maybe I should pay attention to what he does some more.
So I'd also like to reiterate the cooperation that we have with our federal partners, DEA, ATF, FBI. We all work really well together, and this has been a collaboration that has been over 15 years now, I believe, that we've had task force officers. So I thank them for coming out. Thank you very much. We appreciate all the cooperation that they give us. If we have an issue in Oak Lawn, we know that we can call the DEA, and they will be here to help us and augment our manpower when we need to go out and try to find the bad guys. So thank you very much. Thank everybody for coming. Have a good retirement, Ito.
Let's give him a nice.
Ito's saying no treat.
Thank you very much.
I'm sniffing around Andy's.
Okay, so I don't think we voted on that yet. No. That was discussion. I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Trustee Warder made that motion. Do I have a second? Trustee Stalker. Any further discussion?
I just have a question, Mayor, and not that this wasn't a nice thing to do. Do we have to go through all this paperwork for something like that? I mean, I don't mind the ceremonial aspect, but it seems a lot of effort for lawyers to draw up ordinances and such for. I'm just
village property.
Yeah, for $1. Okay.
Okay. Let's call it vote.
Trustee
Costs
Stalker?
us $300 in legal fees.
Yes.
For $1.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Straight.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We're on item 9G, authorization by the Board of Trustees to direct Peterson Johnson and Murray Chicago LLC to prepare the documents necessary for litigation against the Airway Manufactured Home Community for failure to perform requested fire safety improvements on their property and decades-long improper use of village taxpayer property for profit. Trustee Oliniechek, you requested that being removed.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring the residents up to date on how this all came about. And I think Dean is your name for legal representation. Dean, the lawyer who works for a law firm at 20 Wacker Drive in Chicago, who represents Airway, told a little bit of what we had to do. For 16 months, we've met the mayor, village staff, myself, legal counsel, and we've tried to work with the lawyers and the owners of the property and have not been able to get the movement that we need to as representatives of taxpayers of the village of Oak Lawn. And I will tell you that it's very disturbing that when your fire chief brings to your attention that there was a major issue for an unforeseen circumstance and tragic circumstance, and then you start to peel away the onion and start to see more and more issues that are involved directly or indirectly with that type of property. And in the meetings that we had, both good faith, I know the mayor has spent a lot of time, I too have spent a lot of time, I know staff has spent a lot of time, plus our legal counsel, and to go through, and this is Dean's words, not mine, over 16 months of discussion with slim to no progress, it leaves us at the village no other alternative but to go the next path. And the 16 months speaks volumes on how hard we tried to work with the owners of the property to correct the issues that were in there. And it's unfortunate that we have to go to this measure, but it is based off of the inability of the owners of the property to do what they had alluded that they would do or what they need to do to maintain a well-run mobile home park. So I ask this board to support me in voting yes to proceed with the proper legal action.
Trustee Olenichik, I'm going to assume that is a motion.
That is correct.
This may have a second.
A second.
Thank you. Trustee Phelan is our second. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Straight?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. That moves us to item 10, Village Clerk's Report. Jane, you're welcome.
Of semi-monthly disbursements, number 2018-20D, dated October 23rd, 2018, in the amount of $1,943,098.34.
Thank you. May I have a motion on item 10A, please?
So moved.
Thank you. That was Trustee Straight making the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Vorder. Any discussion? Call that vote, please.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Straight?
Yes.
Thing, Mayor, early voting at the Village of Oaklawn Auditorium. It's right here in this room. Did start last Monday, and again tomorrow through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4. And this continues all the way through November 5th. Next week, 9 to 7. Please check our website. You have every opportunity in the world to come out and vote. Please do. Any questions, you can also give us a call at the village. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Item 11, Village President's Report. I just want to ask everyone to get out and vote. Make your voice heard. It's never been more important. Please get the vote out. Item 12, Executive Session 2018-09 for the purpose of discussing number 1, pending or imminent litigation, 2, information regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee or employees of the village, and 3, reviewing for approval of closed meeting minutes 2018-08 dated August 14th, 2018. May I have a motion on item 12, please? That was Trustee Olenichik making that motion. Do I have a second? Second was Trustee Vorder. Any discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichik?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Straight?
Yes.
Thank you.
Passes.
So we're going to clear the room for our executive session. If any students need anything signed, come on down.
You got the test we have to give, Mayor?
I do.